What is up, YouTube? Brew Cactus here, coming at you guys with another video. Today we're going to get into a modern / pioneer deck. I know in the last video I said I didn't have a pioneer deck built, but I went and looked over some of my builds and apparently I do. So we're going to get into this. It is sultai aristocrats. And what that means is you stack a bunch of stuff to kill your opponent. And sultai is green, black, and blue. So, that being said, we're going to jump down into the below section and get this started. Alright guys, so we're down in the bottom section. And I'm going to start off this profile like I do with any profile. And that is starting with the colored cards, and we're going to jump into the black creatures to start off this aristocrat deck. That's where most of your creatures that actually matter for the deck are. So with that being said, let's jump straight into it. So to start off the list, we're playing 3 Crit Breaker. Crit Breaker just helps you put bodies on the board so that you can end up tapping them to draw a bunch of cards. Super good. I was playing this list without this card and it was just garbage. So I decided to put it back in and I've never looked back. So super good. Then for the next card, one of the win cons, we've got Tattered Mummy. You can do so much damage with this card and another in the deck that I'm going to show you. I'm sure you guys can guess what it is if you guys have been playing Magic for a while. And that card, which is actually next, is Zulu Cutthroat. What Zulu Cutthroat does is every time a creature leaves the board, when it dies that is, you gain a life and your opponent loses a life. So it's super good. And the way that you try to sack all your stuff is Nantuko Husk. Now, Nantuko Husk, you sack a creature, gets a +2/+2 counter added to it. So this is your main sack outlet, pretty much your only sack outlet in the whole entire deck. So it's super good. I wouldn't play the deck without 4. Then we've got Volderin Para. This card's amazing. This is kind of like another sack outlet, sort of. It's not a continuous sack outlet, but it does help you sit there and flip it into Abolisher of Bloodlines. This just makes it to where your opponent has to sack some stuff too. So this is super good. Wouldn't play the deck without 1 copy of it, at least. Now, we're going to move into the green creatures. We play 3 Blister Pod. When this dies, you get to have a Scion token that has sacrifice it and add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. I only wanted 3 because I was drawing this too much at 4, not drawing it enough at 2, and this is just the best ratio that I can find for this card. So it's amazing. Then we've got 3 Obese Visionary. For those of you that have been playing for ever, you guys should know what this does. But for those that don't, whenever you play it, draw a card. It's just a good draw engine. I wanted to find something else for this spot that would gain me more advantage, but I've been unsuccessful, and I just love this card. So keeping it in, great draw. Then we've got 4 of the most important green creature in the deck, and that is Dusk Recruiter. You pay 2 colorless and a green to look at the top 3 of your deck, reveal a creature, and then the rest go to the bottom. This is really good at going to get your key pieces for your combo, which is the Zulu Cutthroat and the Nantuko Husk. This is amazing. And it also flips into a 3/3. Let me flip one of them for you guys. It flips into a Karen Horde Hauler, You don't really care for this. Creature spells costing 1 less don't matter in this deck, and I will get to that when I get to the card that helps cast creatures a little easier. You don't really want this to flip, so you want to be casting stuff on your opponent's turn so that it doesn't flip, so you can just infinitely go search for what you want, pretty much. Granted, you have the mana to pay for it, but super good. And then for the last green card, we've got 3 Cryptolith Rites. This just makes it to where your creatures tap for mana. This card is nuts. I've played it 2 copies of this. I've played 3 copies. I've played even 4. 3 is the number. You draw it when you need it, and never more. So this is super good. That's it for the green portion of the deck. We're going to get into the blue. There is a very small blue portion in the deck. I believe there is 4 cards in the entire deck that require blue. So this is more of a Golgari with a splash of blue. So green-black with a splash of blue. The 2 cards we have are Slip Through Space. In the side deck, we do side in some more blue cards, so that's why it's sultai. But if you guys want an updated list that has counter spells in it, I can definitely do that for you guys. But Slip Through Space just makes your Nantuko unblockable, and you want to have an alternate win condition if you can't stack a bunch of stuff to kill your opponent with a Zulu port. So Slip Through Space is just great. Then moving on to the multicolored cards, we've got 3 copies of Catacomb Sifter, or Cat Sifter as a lot of people know it as. What this does is when it enters the battlefield, you get a Scion, the 1/1 Scion, that has sacrifice it and add 1 mana to it. And then when another creature dies, you get to scry. So, super good. I tried playing at 4. I just saw too many on board to the point where I didn't even need a scry at all. So 3 works out perfect. And then the last multicolored card is Prophet of Krufix. My all-time favorite multicolored creature in the game of Magic. When I read this card, I was like, cool, I get to do stuff on my opponent's turn. Super good. So for those of you that don't know what this does, whenever you cast creatures, you can cast them as though they had flash, which is instant speed, so on your opponent's turn, and then on your opponent's upkeeps, your lands untap, so that you can actually cast stuff. So this card, super good. That's why it's banned in Commander. So, but in Modern we get to play with it because it's a lot slower in Modern. So that's why we're playing with it. Now moving on to the colorless cards, and we only have to play 1, which is 2 copies of Hangerback Walker. This self-explanatory if you know what this does, but for those who don't, whenever Hangerback Walker enters, it enters with X 1/1 counter, so whatever you pay for it, so it's double X, so you have to pay 2 per X. So I normally get this out at like a 2/2 or a 1/1, and then over the course of the game it gets bigger because you can pay 1 to tap it and put a counter on it. And then whenever Hangerback Walker dies, you put a colorless artifact creature token onto the battlefield that's a 1/1 Thopter with flying. So super good. Or you put as many as counters you have on Hangerback Walker, I should say. Super good at getting a huge board of creatures just out of nowhere. Super good to have with a Nantuko on board, so you can sack it to go get a bunch of 1/1 flying Thopters to block a bunch of your opponent's flying stuff, so you don't take a lot of damage. Because with this deck, you kind of can take a lot of damage, but you can also gain a lot of damage, or gain a lot of life. So this card just ensures that you can win. Then for the lands, we've got 2 Evolving Wilds. I want these to be Fabled Passages, but I just don't have the I just don't want to drop the money for them. So If you guys have Fabled Passages, throw them in for these Evolving Wilds, because it will help you out a lot more. Evolving Wilds is not that problematic. You just go do it on your end step so that they're untapped on your opponent's turn when with your Prophet of Krufix on board. So, works out there. Then we've got one copy of Rogue's Passage. This makes to where your Nantuko is unblockable, so you can go to kill with that. Can also help hanger bag walkers that are big to get in. Super good card. You only really need one in the deck, because if you don't see it, you can kill them with the Zulu port method. So, super good at one. Then for the multi-color lands, we've got Hissing Quagmire. This is super relevant because it turns into a creature that you can sack with Nantuko Husk. That's very relevant. So many games where I've needed one creature on board, and I had this in my land section so that I can animate it and go ahead and kill the opponent. So, super good card. Wouldn't take it out. Then we've got Llanowar Wastes. You guys can choose to play the pay 2 to have it come in untapped. I think it's Overgrown Tomb. You guys can play that instead of this if you don't like taking the damage, but the damage in this doesn't matter, so that's why I like this card, because it comes in untapped, period. So, super good. Then we don't play any multicolored lands that have blue in it, just because we don't need them. They're not needed. I've tried some, don't like them. Then we've got 4 swamp, 4 forest, and 3 islands. The ratio on the basics kind of depends if you're playing more blue spells or not. You really only need 1 blue on board, and you're good, because your creatures can tap for it. So even if you put more counter spells in here, I don't think you should change the ratio on the land per se. But like I said before, if you guys want a video on a more control-y aristocrats build, by all means, I will definitely bring you guys that profile. Just let me know in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you found this helpful. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with anybody that likes Magic the Gathering. And you guys can give help to other people by sharing my video. But with that being said, this has been Brute Cactus, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.